What is up, guys? Sorry that I haven't been posting a video in quite some time now. I think the last video I posted was like in the middle of July or the end of July. My bad, I haven't been posting it. Um, it's been a lot of things going on personally. That's why I haven't been posting it, but I'm able to have some free time to post one now. So that's what I'm going to do. In the last video, if I could recall, we did the login and the register. We did all the validation stuff. So if we look at our simple mind map, the one we created like in the beginning or either in the first video or the second video, we created it in either one. But so far, we kind of accomplished the UI part of our components that we did. So we accomplished the UI and our sidebar notes. Okay, so we got that part going. I added that part because that's going to be like the logic part, which is fetching the data from the server and all that. So that's the logic. But in the UI perspective, we got the sidebar completed and we got the navigation completed. Okay, so we did all the login, the sign up functionalities, we validated it and handled all the error messages and whatnot. So the last part of the UI components tree here, we got the editor. Okay, so that's going to be the last one, and then we'll start diving into the the logic parts of every component. Okay, the logic part. And the logic part is, of course, dealing with Apollo client and all that good stuff, talking to GraphQL server and all that good stuff. Alright, so we're almost done with the UI part. Okay, so like I said, the last part we're going to do in this video is the editor part. Okay, so we're going to start doing that today. Alright, so let me put that down. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out which um, editor that we're going to use. I already got one in mind that we're going to use. I think it's like an alternative to Draft JS. Okay, so if you don't know, Draft JS is I think Facebook built it to make it a rich text editor specifically for React. I'm pretty sure Facebook built that. Yeah, Facebook did. Okay, so the regular Draft.js is let me make this bigger. It's like I said, it's like a text editor. You can type in anything. You can modify it H1, H4. You can make it a code block if you want. As you can see that background back there. You can do all types of stuff, and then we're going to be using this to create our notes, okay? And style it and all that good stuff and make it look, decent. Alright, but we're not going to be using Draft.js. It's going to be built upon this. The one that we're using is built upon Draft.js. So the one that we're using is called React, not Quill. What was it? I think it's React Draft. Well, React Draft. Yeah, this one. I can't pronounce what that W word is, but yeah, all those letters. Like I said, this is built on top of Draft.js, so this is the one we're gonna use. Where is it? Is the docs? I don't think this is the docs. No. Okay, so this is of course, this is the GitHub page for it. If you scroll down here, it looks exactly the same way as the Draft.js does. It looks exactly the same. It's just that this one is more, for me, this one is more easier to understand and to implement. Draft.js for me was not, but this one is. So if you want to dive into it specifically, to see what it supports and all the features that it has, I will put this link in the description so you guys can check that out. But how I learned from it is that I actually went to the page. It's not the GitHub page. It's the actual documentation page. Wait, I think it's in here. Let me check. No, not the demo page. Is it in here? It should have the actual... Oh yeah, the docs right here. Okay, this is the documentation of it, okay? How you install it, um, using the editor component, the properties that the editor component takes in to create the whole, to get this basically. You have to create the editor, and the editor is the whole editor, okay? And then you pass in the props that you want to pass in to either style the editor or style the toolbar. And the toolbar is this right here. This is the toolbar, and this whole thing right here is the editor. Okay, so you can style either the editor or the toolbar. All you gotta do is pass in the properties to the editor right here, and then style it however you like. As you can see here, it gives an example. Now you can either style it inline, like if you do with wrapper style or editor toolbar style, you can do the styles inline, or you can make it a class and then have a separate, CSS file to style the whole thing. So you can do either one, okay? The editor takes in a state, so basically what the default text is. So in our case, the default text will be an empty string. Okay, like this is the default text. It's nothing. It's empty, right? So you have to set a state to it, and then when you start typing in something, you have to update that state. Okay, almost like an input field. All right. So we'll dive into all of that, but let's go ahead and get this installed. So we're gonna use npm. We're gonna save this as a dev dependency. That's why we have this S right here. So we're gonna go to the terminal here. I got the server going, and then we're gonna go ahead and run that to install it. Make sure we're inside the client of our Evernote project and not the server. So we're gonna get that installed. We also have to install Draft.js if we haven't already. I can't remember if we did or not. Yeah, let me open this project. Do I have the project open? Yeah, I do. Okay. So, go to package.json. Where is it? There it is. Do we have Draft.js in there? No, we don't. Okay. So, we're going to put in Draft.js because these are the pure dependencies that it needs for this to, work. It needs Draft.js, like I said, because it's built upon Draft.js. So that's downloaded. And I don't think I have to save it. I can just do install Draft.js. It's in immutable, but I don't know if I need that for it to work. I'll see if I can do it without that part. Alright, so while those two are installing, let's go here and go to our editor now, okay? So, what is it, editor.js? Yeah, okay. Alright, so let's get into some stuff. Instead of saying this, we're going to make in our React fragment like we do on every component. React fragment. Get that out of there. The next thing, let me make this smaller now. Alright, the next thing we want to do is, of course, see if it's done. Okay, it's done. Clear that out. Make sure it's in there. JS. Okay. So the first thing we want to do, of course, is import the editor component, because that's our main component that's going to be, that shows the editor. So we're going to grab that from, what is that, from Draft, I think. So editor, grab it from graph.js, like that. And right here, go ahead and just use this component editor, like that. It probably won't show nothing right now. Editor has already been declared. Oh, right, I gotta give it a different name. Okay, no, I want that to be called editor, so I'm gonna give this a different name. I'm gonna name this file a different name, okay? I'm gonna name it code editor, because I do want my component to be editor. I don't want to change that, so let me rename this to code editor, like that. Alright, now in the home, of course you gotta update that. Code editor, import that. Get rid of the editor, like that. What is it saying? Editor. Okay, so it's given an error. It's given an error because we didn't pass any properties that it needs. We'll get into that in a second. Okay, I did that. So we got the editor in there. We also want to give it the styles of it, because by default, once we fix this error, there's gonna be no styles. It's not gonna show the toolbar like it's supposed to, unless we put the styles that we need. And it has it down here, the documentation, when we scroll down here. Or where is it? Oh, here it is. It's that one, but scroll down here. It should have showed me. Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is. Alright, these are the styles that's going to make it look like an actual editor. So we're going to import that as well. Minus the node modules, because that will throw an error if we do that. See, like if I show you right now, well, it's going to throw an error anyway, because we didn't pass in our props. But as you can see, it's throwing a CSS error right now, because for some reason you have to do it without the node modules, and then it will work fine. See, now it's just giving this error instead of our CSS error. So that works. And now, to get rid of this error, we have to pass in some properties that are required for this component. Okay, so some properties that are required for this component are the editor state. So the state of the editor, right? And the on editor change state. Now on editor, so basically when you type in something, it changes the state of the error to whatever message you put in there, just like I said, like an input. So on editor state change, I think I spelled that right. Okay, those are the two required properties that we need. Okay, so we're gonna create some methods for these. Alright, so the next thing we gotta do is we'll say we have to give it the initial state for this editor. So for here, we're gonna go to our state context, because remember, all of our state-like information is gonna be here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is our editor state, we're gonna create an editor state here. We're just naming it editor state. Okay, this is the name we call it. I can spell right. and that's going to be set to an empty state. But we have to grab that empty state from the actual editor from Draft.js. And how we do that is that we import we have to import the editor state from Draft.js, because there's a property inside Draft.js that has this. Okay. So now we're saying the name that we made is going to be editor state from our Draft.js, and it has a method called create empty. Okay. Alright, so what this does is make our editor state empty. Okay. This is what it does. So now, for here, when we say our editor state is going to be this property right here, empty, by default. Okay. So now, how do we bring that in? Like we did the others, import state context from state context. Make sure you grab in the use context here, the hook, and then here what you want to do is do const state and set state. Okay, we're going to grab that out of our use context, just like how we did in the other components. This is how you access our state context state. All right. Now our editor state is going to be state dot this one right here. Okay, this property, editor state property. I'm gonna put that there. All right. So that's our editor state. Now when we change it, when we type something in there, it has to call this method right here. So let's create one, because we don't have nothing at the moment. Okay. Let me see. Make sure I named it right. I don't know if I named it right. Let me see. On editor, because usually it pops up to show me oh, I did that wrong. I'm sorry. The editor that we post in here is not from Draft.js. It's from our it's from our React draft, that long text here. Okay, it's not from Draft.js. That was my bad. So React, it's not oh, there it is. Okay, so that's the editor. We grab it from there. Okay, not draft, but from this one that we installed, this package. Okay. Now it should autocomplete. Let me on editor state change. There we go. All right, so we have to create a method. We'll say we'll call it state change. All right. Now, if you look in here, because we're going to pass this method into our editor state change, right? Now, if you hover over it, it tells you what properties this method needs to take in. So when you pass it in here, it'll do it here, okay? So one of them is the editor state, right? So that's the property our method needs to take in. So editor state, and then basically the editor state is basically the text you put in there, right? So now what you want to do is update our editor state from empty to whatever text we put in here. So we do that by using a set state, right? State, and then what property we want to update our editor state, and then we're going to, whatever value we type into our editor is now going to be the text in our editor state. Okay. Right. And if you want to, slim that down, you could just put editor state instead of both of them like this. But, I'll just keep it like that for now. Alright, so we're going to call this method here state change, like that. So now if we go here, state context is not exported. Let me see. Source, state, oh, I spelled it wrong. Wait. Oh, I said state content. I meant context. Sorry. Okay, let's do it again. Where is it? Line 6. Oh yeah, I did it here too. Context. My bad. Okay, so now you can see. Boom, we have it, right? Of course, we're going to have to put some styles in it because you can't tell, like, where it starts and where it begins. But, of course, if you click anywhere, you see the, like, a little line that you can text. See, now this is the result of our initial state. So, by default, our initial state is nothing, right? We did that on the empty, right? And we set that to be our editor state. We set it to be editor state, which is empty, right? And then on editor state change, which means when we type in something, we set our editor state now to be whatever we typed in, because we passed this method into here. Okay, so that's why we're able to type stuff in. If we didn't have that, it will throw us an error. Alright, oops, there we go. So far, all of the, well, oh yeah, I think there's some more stuff we have to do for these to work. Let's see. But so far, we got the editor, and we got the style of it, and we got it able to, run properly. We just gotta make sure our buttons are going as planned. Okay, that one doesn't work. Yeah, for some reason, some of the thingies don't work by default. I don't know why. But for majority of the part, they do work. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is, of course, give this a placeholder. So let's do that, because it says write something amazing, like that. Alright, so that's our placeholder, which is good. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some styles to this real quick. Now the wrapper, there's different type of styles. There's a wrapper style. A wrapper style is like the whole editor, okay? So wrapper style, this is inline because we put style instead of class. That's how you know it's inline. And then what we're gonna name this is it's gonna have a border on it. It's gonna have a border, unpick, solid, gray. Oh, if I can spell solid right. Solid gray. And then it's gonna have a margin of 0.8 EM, like that. As you can see, it gives it, now you can tell where it starts and where it, begins and ends and whatnot, okay? So then, that's the wrapper. The next thing we want to do is the toolbar style. So we go down here, toolbar, style, and for that, we have this specific background color that we want to make. It's going to be E6, E6. There we go. Same color as the background here. Then we got the editor style. We want to give it a padding. Now the padding is going to be like 0. It's going to be the same padding as the margin, so it can be like consistent with the padding and margin. Copy that there. As you can see, it's not squished all the way to the edge. The text is like right there, nicely, nicely looking. Of course, we can make this longer, so we can give it a height of 520 pixels, not that big. That in quotes. There we go. And then when we go down, we want to not let it do that. We want it to have a overflow of auto. So when you actually go down like this, it's going down inside the editor, so you'll have a scroll bar in the editor. So it won't do that. So let me see. Overflow. Make sure you do the Y so it's up and down. And then you do auto. So now when you do this, you'll have a scroll. See, you can scroll it. There we go. Of course, you'll only do that if you have text in there, but sometimes it can get kind of ugly. Because now it's like, it goes up, but the editor won't, so you gotta refresh it. Yeah. I mean, it's not the best, but, it'll do, Oh, wait, I think I know what I did. I don't think I want to overflow on the editor. On the wrapper. I think I want to overflow on the editor. Yeah, I just thought about that. So that probably looks better. So if I go enter... Oh, no. That doesn't do it. I lied. Oh, no, I lied. Okay. Bring it back. I thought that was going to work. It didn't. So I had to write the first time. Okay, so... besides that, it's starting to look really good now. It's starting to really come in and looking nice and all that good stuff. I'm curious why the bold won't work. I probably gotta implement that. Okay, so we have that stuff in there. We have the styles, all that stuff. The next thing we gotta do is we gotta do the headers, because the headers probably don't work. Let me see. If I go to H1, yeah, it's not doing nothing. I hate when it does that. So, let me think. I might have to do this in a separate video. Yeah, I'm gonna make like a part 2 to this video, because I don't want it to get super duper long, because there's a lot of stuff we gotta do with this editor. So I'm going to end it right here by just getting the editor down, getting the styles looking correctly, and basically getting the editor on there, and it's working for the most part. But in another video, we're going to fix the bold, because some of these buttons for some reason don't work. So we're going to have to fix the bold. We're going to have to fix all the headers. But most of the buttons work, but just those main two. And then we'll dive into some more stuff, um, like the content. So right now we don't have like no data, so we'll work on the data in the next video. We'll work on the bold and the headers and all of that good stuff, and the save button that gets our data going, and we'll do all of that in the next video. Okay, so I will see you guys in that one. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next one.